minutes of 8 right now. Pat Collins is spending some time in Los Angeles these days. She talked recently with Julie Andrews. Pat?
You've had every kind of award, Oscars, gold records, Grammys, but today you're getting a star on Hollywood Boulevard. Does it mean something to get yet another accolade?
Well, this one does. I didn't think too much about it until this morning, but one of the ladies who was on the committee that gave me this beautiful star said very sincerely, you realize that's there for posterity. They don't just take that out of the concrete and put it away if your next movie is a failure. That's there for always. And I suddenly realized it really was going to be in the pavement, I hope, for a very long time to come, and it felt very nice.
The new movie that you're in, 10, created by your husband, Blake Edwards. There is a terrific scene. You're in bed with Dudley Moore. You two are having a relationship. It does not always go smoothly. A good example of how it's not going smoothly, the two of you are fighting with each other. Anything about that scene, or for that matter, Dudley's character in the movie as a man going through a midlife crisis, any similarities between that and your own husband?
Well, there are lots of moments in the script that are similar to our life, I think. I think Blake drew from life to a degree. I know because he asked me if I would do the role, he used the way I speak, the things that I say, and also little things like when, if you remember, when Dudley's watching the television and I tell him that he's watching too much and if he'd only turn it off and pay more attention to his guests, in particular this bedroom guest, that's something that Blake and I had to sort of work out between us when we were first married. Well, he still does watch an enormous amount of television, and it took me an awful long time to understand why and what it means to him, and we had to adjust about it. So he really drew from life on that.
So there are some similarities.
Oh, yeah. I'll leave you to guess the rest.
In many ways, the hero of the movie, played by Dudley Moore, could be described as a man who's very successful, but not necessarily happy. All the success and money has not brought him happiness. There was a period that you've said in your life that same thing could have been said about you. You were very successful, but you weren't very happy.
Yeah, I think that probably applies to a lot of people who are enormously successful, especially at an early age. It is inclined to bowl you over. It is inclined to change your values. And there's a lack of reality. I mean, it escalates so fast. But it happened to me, yes, at a certain time in my life. I just wasn't happy with myself, is what it boiled down to. So I was very lucky to be able to go and do something about it. And I did, and it helped a great deal.
In terms of psychoanalysis?
Yes, I had some analysis, and it was, for me, a godsend, really.
And then, of course, you married Blake Edwards.
And out of that came marriage to Blake, yes.
And how did he change you? How did he change your life?
Oh, in a number of ways. He's a very straight human being. And he's complex too, but basically he's very straight, and he doesn't let me get away with too much stupidity or silliness or put on airs and graces and so on. And also I think you are inclined to try much, much harder with a second marriage. We both, so far, want the marriage to work, and I think as long as two people are willing to pitch in, it has a chance of success.
When you were first married, you and Blake, did you want to have a family, your own children?
Yes, we did very much, and we weren't successful at all with it, and so we decided we would adopt two babies, and we did.
And how old are they now?
Well, Amy is 5 and Joanna is 4, but we've had them since they were very, very small. One was 2 months and one was 5 months old. They're both Vietnamese babies, and they've really been a delight, are a delight.
Did you have any second thoughts about adoption? Did you think, gee, you may be tough?
Well, we thought a long time before adopting. I mean, it isn't something that you just do on the spur of the moment, because there's the rest of the family to think about. It wasn't just Blake and myself.
Your other children?
Yes, we had, between us we have, now between us we have 5 children, but at that time we had 3, and they had to be taken into consideration and asked how they feel. And then the slightly frightening thing about it is that we really took both the babies sight unseen. It wasn't like going through a California adoption agency or whatever. We were sent a small picture, literally no more than that. And yes, at times I was nervous. And it's interesting because once they had arrived, all the fear disappeared. And it is just fear of the unknown that makes you nervous. And once you have the child, and once they really are yours, then that completely disappears. It's interesting because now I forget that they're adopted. They're just the family.
This is a crazy question. Was there ever a talk that you would do a nude scene in 10? I asked because at dinner the other night I said I'd just seen 10 and it was very funny. But I said, oh, that's the movie where Julie Andrews is the nude scene.
No, you're getting the...
she doesn't.
No, you're getting your films confused. Blake has a film that he's long wanted to do. It's also one that he wrote called S.O.B. And it's about Hollywood. And it's a wonderful black comedy that I do hope he gets to film one day.
And you'll do that?
And I hope to do it, yes. And there might be a nude scene in that.
And you would do it?
Yeah, if the part called for it, I certainly would. But I think I rely on Blake's taste and his judgment. I think I know how he would shoot it and how he wants to do it.
But there's nothing about doing a nude scene in general that you would oppose to if it was done in the right
Not
manner.
if it were valid. I mean, if it were just done to shock and to say, here, I'd like to change my image, that's really silly. But if it were a super role, I mean, I hope that I'm considered an actress, not just Mary Poppins.
Is it your feeling that some people still think of you only as Mary Poppins?
We're at a press conference yesterday, and my gosh, you should hear the questions. There are a couple of four-letter words that I use in this film 10, which are very modern and they're today, and the character that I play, would use those words. And they didn't bother me, but they sure bothered an awful lot of other people. And it was fascinating.
People have a need for you to be who they want you to be.
Well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So I'd rather do what I feel like doing, which is being an actress and a singer and making some nice movies, God willing, or the motion picture industry willing, one of the two.
Whichever comes first.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I do get them slightly muddled sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us this morning.
It was a great pleasure.
Thank you.